The Lincolnshire seat of Sleaford and North Wycombe voted heavily to leave the European Union in June's EU referendum. It was a sentiment that UKIP hoped to capitalise upon in yesterday's by-election, with leaflets relentlessly painting the Tories as Brexit backsliders.
But it wasn't enough. They came a distant second, trailing behind the Conservatives by more than 13,000 votes. So what does it mean for the party's future? Let's ask UKIP's new leader, Paul Nuttall, who joins us now. Very good morning to you. Thank you for your time this morning. What went wrong, do you think, in terms of your performance in this by-election?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If someone would have said to me at the very beginning of this campaign that we finished second, I would have bitten their hands off. Let's not forget, UKIP has been in the middle of a leadership campaign. We've looked pretty shambolic over the summer and into the autumn. And I think this result is a good, solid result, which takes us into the Christmas period and into the new year. Buoyant. I mean, 14% is where we are in the opinion polls nationally. Basically, our vote is holding up.
Well, your share has gone down, though, hasn't it? In this by-election, as compared to the general election, it went down.
Yeah.
So that implies, actually, it's got slightly worse.
Look. We're living in strange times at the moment. The Conservative Prime Minister, Theresa May, is having somewhat of a honeymoon period when it comes to Brexit. I don't believe it'll last. I think what we'll find is the Conservative government slowly begin to backslide on this issue. I think they'll try and keep us in the single market, and that means that we can't control our borders, our own laws, our own finances. And I think then British people will turn to UKIP in their droves. So I tell you, the future of this party is very bright indeed.
Caroline Johnson, who won, of course, the Conservative candidate, pledged in her speech she will make sure that Brexit happens. And that goes to the core of the problem UKIP faces, which is a real problem. I mean, you're already shaking your head. Let me just outline the nature of the problem. The problem is that now everyone's a Brexiteer, especially the Conservative Party. They are in power. So if you want someone to look after Brexit for you, well, you vote Tory, don't you?
Well, actually, the Conservative candidate in this election put on her literature that she wanted to see Britain stay in the single market. Now, that isn't what the British people voted for on June the 23rd. They voted to take back control of borders, finances and laws. And if the Conservative Party tried to keep us in the single market, that is a betrayal of that vote on June the 23rd, and British people will turn to UKIP. But not only do we have great opportunities in Conservative areas, but in Labour areas too, where you have a Labour leader who isn't connecting with working class people.
When are you going to stand?
Well, that's something which is going to be up for negotiation. Who knows, I may well stand in a by-election next year.
Can you give us any clues as to which one that might be, or where or when?
Well, it mightn't be too far away from where you're sitting.
OK, I don't want to play a guessing game with you. Go on.
Well, you know, but there may well be a by-election in Greater Manchester next year. I'll give it serious consideration as to whether I will stand in it.
Well, it's an interesting... I mean, the reason I'm pursuing that one particularly is that because of Nigel Farage and the extraordinary impact he had, and he was a divisive figure in many ways, but, you know, no one denied he made an extraordinary impact on British politics. You are in quite a difficult position, aren't you, with a party which has effectively achieved what they wanted to. Now they haven't got a raison d'etre. And for you as a leader, to stand as an MP would be very, very important to make your mark. So it all becomes more and more significant, doesn't it?
Firstly, it is important that we get more UKIP MPs because we want to ensure that we hold the government's feet to the fire, and UKIP is at its best when it is strong electorally, and I intend that to be the case. But look, you know, I'm only young in this job. UKIP's membership has gone up last week for the first time in about a year. Our poll ratings are up as well. We've now just finished second in a by-election. Pretty happy with my first week's work.
Paul Nuttall, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Paul Nuttall, the leader of UKIP.
Cheers.